Welcome everyone, it's Michael Dehaan from Quantum Elite Global. I'm one of the founders there, and I've got Leslie Urbas with us today. How are you, Leslie?
I'm good.
So Leslie's from Florida, USA, so it's Wednesday afternoon for you over there.
Yeah.
So what we want to talk about is this about women's empowerment series, and it's very much around sort of empowering women, but it really comes down to that health and well-being, which you specialize in, and hence why I wanted to have this conversation with you. One, I see a lot of women, men as well, sort of going either up that ladder in regard to the corporate side or even running their own business, and they get fatigued, they get tired, and I suppose, what I found myself, because I've been through this, is I suffered a lot of financial stress for many years, and I found myself getting sicker, and I wasn't aware that I was sort of shutting down my autoimmune system. My diet wasn't supporting me, and I ended up with a Crohn's autoimmune, amongst other things. So I suppose the fascination for me over the last year or two has been, connecting with people like yourself, that you've got to have that balance. To,
Yeah.
to be your best, you've got to have the balance, and hence, as I said, I reached out to you, and you sort of jumped on board, and I suppose just go through some things that we need to look out for to be our best, to shine, and be our best authentic self. So a long sort of introduction there, but I'd love for you to share a bit more about what you do, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, for sure. That was a good introduction about nutrition and, how much it is important to your body, to your well-being, right? Whether you're, a woman or an entrepreneur or somebody that's really needing to, you know, be on at all hours, right? Maybe you're a mother that's on for all hours, right? Like you
Yeah,
don't, even during your sleep, it's like you wake up and you hear something. You put a big tax on your body, but we don't see it on the outside as much as we see it on the inside. I've had a lot of clients that were very similar like that, where they wind up with like stomach ulcers, or they're feeling that bloated, that fatigue, that I just can't push through. I don't have the stamina anymore. I'm always tired, and they want to have this massive energy for themselves, for their business, for their kids, for their life. But it's like big snooze, right? You just kind of want to just, if I could just close my eyes for 10 minutes every hour, it'd be good, or
yeah.
of those things. And a lot of times it's because of what we put in our bodies. Our diets don't support us to live freely. um People focus so much on, okay, well, if I need to lose weight, I'll calorie restrict, or
Yeah.
if I'm having bloating, let me Google something and maybe do a cleanse, right? It's all that, grab and go quick fix nutrition, which they don't see what really happens on the inside, how much it can break down our second brain, our gut, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's intestines are a little bit different, and the way that they digest and utilize the food really reflects in our energy levels and our skin and our excitement. And so what I try to do from a dietitian standpoint is really help you narrow what it is that's happening. What is it in your nutrition that's causing you to have this, and how do we change this so that way you can feel that energy again, reduce those disease inducing patterns that you're kind of following down, and remove excess weight or any emotional or stress eating that kind of come with it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, really interesting, because I think it'd be fair to say I know a lot of people there that their sort of diet slowly goes down, so they don't really notice it, and they're slowly getting more fatigued, feeling a bit more sick, whatever. But because it's so gradual, and you can blame other things always. I'm stressed at work, this is happening, family stressing me out, whatever. So you tend to put other reasons behind how you're feeling inside. So, but
Yeah.
but your body's going to tell you at one stage that enough's enough. I assume.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of clients where it's like they do really well, right? We lose 65 pounds, 100 pounds, something drastic. And it's like you did so good. And then it's little by little we like change or tweak, or then all of a sudden we don't notice and the scales back up 40 or 50 pounds. And we're like, what happened? Like I blinked, nothing changed. I don't feel like it did, because of those small gradual changes that we've just accrued over time that we didn't pay attention to.
Yeah. But what are the things that people should look at? As I said, for now, they're stressed in their work, that they're not overweight, but they might be eating well. But Like you mentioned bloating before, but what are some of the things that they should look out that maybe this is going down that pathway? They really need to check in on their diet, their stress, their mindfulness, goes on and on.
Yeah, I'd probably say there's, a good 3 to 5 things. First would be your energy level. Like, when are you fatiguing? Are you getting that like midday burnout where, at 3 or 4 p.m. in the middle of the day, you're like, I could take the nap, right? That's a really good sign that something's wrong nutrition wise. Any gut health thing, so like irregular bowel movement or the bloating or I can't eat that. It messes with my stomach nowadays or something. That's a really good point. A next thing would probably be, going without eating, right? Like I don't eat, like I skip a meal, or all of a sudden the day's gone and I blink and I'm just now getting the meal. Or you're drinking a lot of caffeinated beverages with calories to kind of keep yourself going,
Yeah.
keep yourself fueled there. And I'd probably say the fifth thing would be, really think about it for the last 24 to 48 hours. Could you tell me the majority of you that you ate? And in the majority of the foods that you ate, could you say, without using artificial coloring, you at least had 4 to 5 different colors of fruits and vegetables? When you can't really answer those questions, it's kind of good signs that your diet, even if you're, at a healthy weight or an unhealthy weight, is not exactly where it needs to be for you to successfully make it through your day energized.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point, and I know I get busy, so at home, I know when we sort of work on Sunday what the meals look like and do some preparation, it tends to flow. But if we don't do that, it's just whatever's there. You got 10 minutes, you just grab whatever, and generally we go down that pathway of not eating as well as we should. But again, with a bit of planning and sort of setting up the week in advance, there we find our diet a lot better and our energy a lot better. Is that something you go through with you?
Yeah, yeah. So I used to do a lot of meal planning back when I worked, full time. Now with 2 small kiddos, I kind of plan my meals because I'm so used to this. I plan my meals as I go. But I find that, clients that are super busy, they do best when they kind of have the week unfolded. Now, again, that doesn't mean that you can't plan to have the pizza. If Friday night is pizza night, let Friday night be pizza night. But it does mean, you'll get better results if you have that kind of in you. A quick tip for most people is, if you're one of those people that doesn't eat or that doesn't have a plan, setting alarms on your phone, right? You schedule your day, right? You schedule when you're supposed to be doing what. So schedule these activities as well, so you can kind of get that result of, okay, I planned the meals on Sunday, but then come Thursday, I realized I didn't eat any of them, right? So we want to make sure that you're actually eating them. So, reminders go a really long way.
Yeah. There's all this talk about gluten. It's just everywhere at the moment, like what gluten does to your body. It doesn't break down. And I'm only just starting to learn that with my autoimmune and just managing that. Trying to adopt a diet around maybe not eating gluten, which I find hard. But why is that more sort of prevalent now, or has it always been there?
So gluten has always been there. It's always, we found that with celiac disease. I think it was maybe not less prevalent, but less looked at years ago. So many of times it was overlooked, like they were iron deficient or other things. And years later, they come to find out, oh, well, you were really actually celiac deficient all this time.
Yeah.
But, prior to this, it wasn't something we explored a lot, similar to that vitamin D amount, right? So we now know vitamin D is connected with so many things. So celiac's always been there, and celiac disease is where you cannot digest gluten. But in recent years, gluten has come into the light, I think, a little bit more with some of our learning about the second gut, right? Or the second brain, our gut, and how much that interacts in there. So a lot of times people have that, gluten sensitivity, not to say that they are celiac,
Yeah.
that they have celiac disease, but to say they have that gluten sensitivity. And it could be for multiple reasons. Some people find it out on like an allergy test. So I think it's becoming more prevalent because of, one, we're doing more preventative medicine now.
Yeah.
And I'd say the second thing is that it did for a while become like a fad diet. Like, oh, I'll remove gluten and I'll lose a lot of weight. Because if you eat a lot of products with gluten, like breads and stuff like that, it's going to be pretty simple. If I can't eat them, then I have to learn something else to replace the calories with. So people will typically see some sort of weight loss. So I think it's a combination of more preventive medicine and then this second part of, a little bit of the fad diet of when it immersed a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. We do a lot of work around sort of psychological safety, financial well-being, working with businesses and corporates, and it's very much around building teams, employees bringing their whole self to work. So
Yeah.
what sort of some guidance and tips that, because that's similar to what you're doing in a sense, allowing people to be their best self,
Yeah.
having the energy, having the vitality, having the consciousness to, go into work and be their best, whether they're running a business or in the corporate world. What are sort of some tips that you might give them that are sort of starting out or before they get into maybe unhealthy habits, as an example?
Yeah, so first of all, it's great that you brought that up because I'm now working with some corporate small business clients to work as a whole. I mean, COVID in and of itself proved to us that you have to be healthy, right? Number one risk factor for it was obesity and overweight, right?
Yeah,
So how do you prepare for the world, whether it's you're an entrepreneur or you're a business person or you run the business? How do you prepare and how do you do that? Well, I would say if you're the top person, so let's look at, like a CEO level or you run your own business, you have to remember your business is only going to run as efficiently as you do.
yeah,
So the more tired you are, the more tired your people probably are, or how much your business will bring in, right? So from that standpoint, I always say that your health needs to be kind of in the top 5 things that you care about, right? We're
yeah,
going to care about sales, we're going to care about all that, but let's care about our health. So, tips for people that are, running those things would be one, always hydration is key. Whenever we're, thirsty or our bodies are, craving water or needing something, it's going to make you tired, it's going to make you hungry, it's going to make you cranky. So hydration would probably be the first thing I would tell people is make
yeah,
sure we're fueling enough. The second thing I'd probably say is get on a decent exercise routine. Now, I'm not telling you like go to the gym and, bust it out. If you want to, great, go for it. But simple things like a couple 10-minute walks a day or doing some things around the house, getting yourself to do some exercise will really help. It'll help reduce blood sugar issues. It'll help decrease the obesity issues. It'll decrease your stress, decrease burnout, decrease all that. So that would be the second thing I'd really recommend. And then the third thing would be what I call the healthy plate method. You can pretty much Google it, but if you thought about a plate, cut your plate in half, okay, and one whole half of the plate should literally just be vegetables.
yeah,
Sure, you can have a piece of fruit, but put on the side, and then the other parts of the plate, I divide it in two, okay, so that the bottom half divide in two again, and get your carb and get your protein to really get an overall healthy diet, and that should really be at every meal. Sure, you don't have to have a half a plate of vegetables at breakfast, but you should still be getting some sort of carb and some sort of protein, not like just a banana. Try to fuel for the day.
yeah,
And the bonus tip there would be really to get a plan that, is designed for you, designed for your employees, really hone in on the fact that there's so much misinformation out there that somebody, whether it be yourself or your employee, that wants to lose weight is now bombarded with this whole other thing of, I have this health issue, or I have this weight issue, or I have all these other things. And that is going to doom and gloom them and take them away from where we want them to be productive
yeah,
and maybe make them miss work more from getting all these doctor's appointments for things they may think are going on, right?
yeah,
So that would be like the bonus tip, but that would be the top 3 things I'd probably say
yeah.
to kind of do to get yourself going.
I think there's so much value there for sort of people to look at that and sort of look at how that's sort of playing out in their life. So I appreciate that. That's some really good tips there. And what I heard from you and what it resonated with me is that sort of, I liken it to the story of the fish rots from the head. So it's the leaders, it's conscious leaders there that are showing up, that are walking the talk. So that they're looking after themselves. They've got that vitality there. They've got that drive there, which brings a team along with them. So I think
Yeah,
that was just a great way to sort of illustrate the importance of everyone stepping up and sort of taking responsibility for their wellness, for their health, in a sense.
for sure.
Yeah. So if anyone was going to reach out to you, I'll leave some details there. But what would be a good way to sort of reach out to you, and if they want to learn a bit more around the sort of the diet side, the energy, and that well-being aspect, what is there a way
Yeah.
that they can contact you?
Yeah, for sure. So I run a group on Facebook. It's called Weight Loss and Wellbeing for High Performers.
Yep.
That's where I give lots of content away, free content to, deep dive into. But I also have my website, which is leslieUrbas.com. So they can kind of snag me there. And pretty much on any platform that you search Leslie Urbas, I'm pretty much the only one on there. Um, but I'm on YouTube and other things like that where you can get some good free information as well to kind of get to know me a little bit better and learn what I do and how I help.
Right. I appreciate that, and thank you for offering that. I just think it's so important, and it is becoming more prevalent, but it's so important to link diet, overall health, well-being, and put them together. They don't work outside from each other. So it's that collaboration that will bring out the best in people, best in businesses, best in corporates. So I appreciate what you're doing. And again, I appreciate your timing adding value to this series. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Pleasure. See you.